Welcome to Zoominsight YouTube channel with another interesting story. The siblings, Lila and Sam, walked home under the faint glow of fireflies. The forest, usually a place of comfort, felt strangely alive tonight. Suddenly, Lila stopped mid-step. "Sam, look," she whispered, pointing to a flickering light between the trees. Her voice quavered with a mix of awe and excitement. Sam squinted, adjusting his glasses. "We should keep going. It's getting late." Sam, but Lila had already moved closer, drawn to the humming orb resting on the mossy ground. Her green eyes reflected the soft blue glow. "It's beautiful," she murmured, her fingers trembling as they hovered over the orb. "Don't touch it," Sam yelled, his voice breaking. Raina smiled. Too late. The moment her fingers grazed its surface, the orb pulsed with energy, projecting a dazzling image of a futuristic city. Lila's heart raced, torn between wonder and fear, while Sam's hands shook as he pulled her away. "What have you done, Lila?" he gasped, his voice a mix of anger and worry. I didn't mean to," Lila stammered, tears welling up. Lila and Sam burst into the workshop, panting. The clinking of tools and the rhythmic ticking of clocks surrounded them as Mr. Bricks turned from his desk. His sharp eyes, though weary with age, immediately locked onto the orb. "Where did you find that?" he demanded, his voice low and grave. "In the forest," Lila said, her voice barely a whisper. "You don't understand," Mr. Bricks said, his hands gripping the cane tightly. "That's no ordinary artifact. It's a timekeeper, created to stabilize time itself. If it falls into the wrong hands," sinister, "I didn't know it was there until you put your ring into my hands." Lila's throat tightened. "I didn't know. I got..." Mr. Bricks softened, placing a hand on her shoulder. "Curiosity is a gift, child, but it must be wielded wisely." Sam, trying to hide his trembling, asked, "What do we do now?" "We must protect it," Mr. Bricks said firmly. "But be warned, dark forces will come for it." Lila's heart sank as she clutched the orb. She felt its weight, not just physically, but in her soul. The orb's glow dimmed as the group hurried through empty streets. Suddenly, a chilling whisper broke the silence. "They're here," Mr. Bricks hissed, his voice filled with urgency. Lila clutched the orb tighter, her heart pounding like a drum. Dark, shadowy forms emerged, their glowing red eyes piercing through the fog. "Run!" Sam shouted, grabbing Lila's hand. Lila's legs burned as she struggled to keep up, the oar feeling heavier with each step. Sir, I can't." "Yes, you can," he barked, his voice desperate. "Don't stop." Falter. Behind them, the phantoms closed in, their whispers growing louder. Tears streamed down Lila's face as she pushed forward, guilt gnawing at her. "I'm sorry," she cried. "I didn't mean for this to happen." Sam glanced back, his own fear masked by determination. "We'll fix it. Just don't let go of that orb." The group stumbled into the cave, gasping for air. The walls glowed with ancient runes, and in the center stood a half-built portal, its metallic portal faintly humming, faintly. "This is it," Mr. Briggs said, rushing to a control panel. "The Timekeeper can power the portal, but it's incomplete." Lila hesitated, her hands trembling. "What if it doesn't work?" "It must work," Mr. Briggs snapped, his voice cracking under the pressure. The phantom's whispers grew louder outside the cave. Sam gripped a rock, his knuckles white. "We'll buy you time," he said, stepping between the portal and the entrance. "By setting you in your thoughts, we can move the Emperor to the front of your mind without you realizing." "No," Lila cried, her voice breaking. "We stay together. You have to trust me," Sam said, his voice soft but firm. Emotion overwhelmed Lila as she handed the orb to Mr. Briggs. "Please, make it work," she begged, her voice barely audible. Sam swung his makeshift weapon as Lila screamed. "Leave him alone," her voice cracked with desperation. Suddenly, Mr. Briggs stepped forward, the Timekeeper in his hands. "It's me you want," he yelled. The phantoms turned to him, their whispers deafening. "No," Lila cried, reaching for him, but Sam held her back. With a final smile, Mr. Briggs hurled the orb into the portal. A brilliant beam of light consumed the phantoms, pulling them in. The cave shook violently as the portal collapsed. Emotion. Sam swallowed hard, forcing back tears. "He saved us." Days later, the siblings returned to Mr. Briggs' workshop. Lila placed a single white flower on his chair, her hands trembling. Would have been proud. The Lila looked at the glowing gadgets surrounding them and smiled faintly. "We'll make sure no one forgets him," she said, concealing the gadgets in her vest. Before she reached them, she uttered something in Greek. Together they vowed to use Mr. Briggs's inventions to help the village, ensuring his sacrifice was not in vain. Curiosity and bravery are powerful, but they must be balanced with responsibility. Together, we can overcome even the greatest challenges and honor those who guide us. For more interesting stories, subscribe the Zoom Insight YouTube channel.